Hi, my name is Keith Nitka. I'm the Battleship Operations Manager, and I want to thank you for joining us today on this Whiskey Wednesday virtual adventure. As you've been watching in the past, I like to get former crew members, shipmates of mine on board to talk about the spaces that they worked in. So today I have Postal Clerk on board with me. He's a shipmate of mine, was on board. He's a plank owner. He's actually part of the Wisconsin Boot Camp Company, and all the way through until decommissioning. Kevin Olkowski was a postal clerk on board Battleship, Wisconsin. Shipmate of mine served on board at the same time, and I've invited him down here to help me with this virtual adventure today to talk about life as a postal clerk in the United States Navy, specifically on board Battleship, Wisconsin. So, Kevin, thanks very much for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, one of the things that we like to discuss with guests when they come on board, if you can elaborate a little bit on it, is because I don't think that some guests don't really appreciate the fact that this is a United States post office. So one of the things that we try to get it to understand is anything that you can get done at your post office on Main Street in hometown USA, you guys could do here. So if you just walk me through like a day here, what you do and,
Sure.
and stuff like that, if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, where we're standing right now would have been the finance window area, and we sold stamps, money orders, envelopes. We did a lot of the, and then we would have to process all of that, and then take all the money to dispersing, which was just around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
There's another room just a little bit to the side of us that was the mail room, is where we actually sorted the mail and we distributed out of there, which we would have mail POs, we called them. Everybody had a card from a division and they would come get the mail for their division or department. But it was like a regular running post office. Anything, we fell under the same rules as the United States Post Office.
Okay. We were discussing earlier about money order situation.
Yes.
If you could just tell me about that.
Well, that was very important because at the time there wasn't a lot of direct deposits. You're talking 30 years ago. The only way to get money home was through here because everybody got paid in a paycheck. So we had a bank on board, just like the post office. They went and got their money, and they would be a line as far as you could see. In fact, we usually extended our hours on paydays because we had to get everybody there, because they had to send their money home.
Sure.
You get the money order made because, of course, one of the downfalls of being at sea is the mail doesn't go out every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of our first class PC. Petty Officer Mays was the one that was in charge of always keeping ahead of the game. And that's part of being more of a senior petty officer in the postal world, is you work on routing and getting your mail sent to the next place it has to be. It doesn't just follow you.
Right.
You're like that. It has to be all coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
and he would do all that coordinating. He supervised the whole operation.
Okay.
Otherwise, when you had asked about, we did have free mail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the free mail.
When we were in theater, I don't know where it started, but for sure when we were in the Gulf, you had free mail. You wrote free right across the top where the stamp goes, and that was all you had to do. And then as long as it was coming from an FPO or an APO, which were the addresses for military.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how that worked. A lot of any service member mail we were getting back here, that care packages. In fact, we got so many of those to the ship that I remember the public affairs office ended up taking over all of that because there was just so much of it. They helped us handle it. As long as it said any service, we turned it over to them, and then.
Okay.
But there would be gum and candy and sometimes just letters from little kids, and it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a any service member mail package, and in it was a demo tape of the Google Dolls.
Really?
Yes, and Petty Officer Campbell, QM3 Campbell, he got a any service member mail. He got it from Las Vegas. It came from Las Vegas because that's where Steve was from, Las Vegas. And when he opened it up, there were used deck of cards from the casinos.
Oh, sure.
There was he pulled it out. There's like 10 or 12 different packs of cards, and they've all got holes drilled in them because they were used at some point, and then get rid of them like that. But yeah, so any service member mail was a pretty neat thing. But I do remember that the ship got inundated with it, because there were boxes and boxes and boxes all over the place.
Everywhere.
Tell me about Christmas.
Oh, Christmas, whether we were in port or if we were out to sea or whatever the case might be, that was, like I said, again, it was a different time then. So, the post office was a lot more important during that time, because a lot of the stuff we do now, I mean, you didn't have people talking to each other face to face on the phones or anything like that. So,
right.
Or you couldn't just order stuff from Amazon or anything like that. So it was very important. Cards, letters, packages. It was very busy.
Yeah. So this was all. What did you call this place again?
This was the finance area.
Finance.
The finance
this
windows.
Whole room would have in essence been that.
What we would also do in here is if there was lots and lots of overflow, then we would use these. We would, because we had, at times we would have, let's see, there was probably 6 of us.
Okay.
So I mean, you'd have sorting mail going in the mailroom and in here. So, okay. But otherwise it was more the finance office.
Finance office. Right.
And like I said, that desk was our first class, and then Senior Chief McQueen's desk was there. It's not there anymore, but
right here. That
was his desk, and so those two were. And I think at the point of he didn't do a lot of that routing anymore. It was Maine's one.
Yeah.
So so we sorted mail over here too, also.
And it was so it came in, it was sorted, and then it was given to the postal petty officers for the division over at that other shop.
Yes.
Yep. So I know one of the things that we discuss with visitors on board the ship is the mail getting on board the ship during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. How we'd get the Desert Duck would come over from Bahrain and bring us mail, but we weren't only getting our mail. We would get other ship's mail as well.
We would hub, as a lot of things that we did. I think we did a lot of refueling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were kind of a hub. So a lot of times we would store their mail. There wasn't a lot of sorting going on for the other ships, but we would store it because maybe the helicopters couldn't come to where they were. And being that we had a lot of armament and it was a lot safer for us, we were able to take it to them.
Right, I gotcha. And then when they come alongside for refueling or whatever,
we would highlight it over.
Excellent, excellent. So one of the things that we like to discuss with former crew members is general quarters. What exactly? So there's no guns down here, of course. You're not fighting anybody. So we go to general quarters. We're in combat conditions. What exactly does a postal clerk do?
Okay. I would go to repair one forward, which was all the way forward on I believe it was on the port side.
Okay.
And I was a phone talker.
Okay, you were a phone talker. And who were you in contact with?
I would be in connection with the investigators or the repair leader. They would come in and they would hand you a piece of paper. And it had a bunch of symbols on it. And you would have to know what those symbols are. It might be an alpha fire, in space, whatever.
Right.
And then you would go over the sound-powered phone, which is kind of like having 2 cans with the wire in between them. There is no power to them. It's the power of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, if they lose power or whatever, they can always communicate, and that would communicate to Damage Control Central, and then they would plot it there.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Mr. Z.
Yep, sure do.
Mr. Z, he was the one in charge down there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He ran a tight ship.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yep. Mr. Z did.
Yeah. That's what most of us did.
Okay.
And then now in port, we had different jobs. Remember when we had to hold a duty?
Right, your duty section.
Yeah. I didn't stand watch as I was on the in-port fire party.
Okay.
And we kind of trained for all the jobs for that.
Yes. Yeah, you were all the stations. So
Yeah.
a hoseman, a nozzleman,
Yeah.
plugman, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kevin, thank you very much for helping me today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome home, brother. It's nice to see you.
I'm very happy to be here.
Good. So, thank you today for joining us on this virtual adventure. Again, my name is Keith, and if you have questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you have someplace on board the ship that you want to see in particular, again, comment, and maybe we can get that done at some point in time. We got Winterfest coming up here shortly. Be ready for that. Stay tuned for that. We always welcome you to come out to the ship, and you can take the guided tour, self-guided tour. There's a lot of history here. She's 77 years old, but she saw service in 3 wars. Lots of history, lots of people around here to talk to and learn about, and we welcome you to come on board. So again, my name is Keith Nitka, and thank you for joining us today on this virtual adventure.